up, everyone? It's Sam from 64 Wheels, back with more Diecast, and today is part 2 of the Jada Pink Slip series, which I'm excited about. For the first part, we unboxed all of Wave 1, which was those 12 cars back there. Talked the history of the line, a little bit about why the line exists compared to Majorette cars, and now we're on to Wave 2. So Wave 2 is just much smaller, so this will be a shorter video, kind of to the point. We don't have to cover the history or anything like that, but here are the 6 cars in Wave 2. We have a bunch of good castings and no carryover. So again, we're getting 12 new cars plus 6 new cars, and then we're going to be covering the Majorette car. So we're going to be unboxing a bunch of unique castings that aren't duplicated. The Majorettes will have some duplication, but so far the Pink Slips line have been all new castings, which is very exciting because even the Hot Wheels like pullback speeders, by the second wave, they're already repeating 2 or 3 cars. So it's cool to have a line where the cars are new every time and they have not duplicated yet. So let's go ahead and look over each of these and then we'll go ahead and bust them open. So the first one, the Audi RS e-tron GT. This is the sister car to the Porsche Taycan, I believe is how you say that. This is a cool casting. The paint job on this one's pretty unique, and this is the first time we are seeing chrome wheels in this line. So that one should be fun to open. Next up, a beautifully, very Pink Panther looking Porsche 911 Carrera S, the 992. This is a good casting. I've opened this up, the Majorette version before, but this one has the 6-spoke wheels. I love the pink paint job. That one should be fun to open. Next up, we have the Ford Mustang Fastback, which this is probably, what, a 67, or 68, I believe, Mustang. Really nice color. Again, they've done a good job with colorations on this line. There's a good variety of colors, a good variety of German, American, JDM, a lot of just variety in general is a good thing throughout this line. So this one should be fun to open, very colorful. Next up, we have another G-Wagon. In the first one, we had the purple G-Wagon, just like the standard G-Wagon. This is the Maybach G650 Loudette. This is the open roof version, which is cool. It looks like the hood on this one opens a little bit farther than the purple one we opened in the last video. So we'll be taking a look at that. Next up, a car I really like in real life. I'm not a huge EV person, but I think the Hummer EV is just a crazy, wild, awesome vehicle. So I'm pumped that it's in this line because this looks like a very good version of it. It has a front opening, like trunk area, I guess, and a really cool, like almost matte metallic green. It's a really interesting color that I don't think we've ever seen on a diecast before, so I'm definitely pumped to open that one up. And then lastly, we have another Mercedes, the AMG SL63, which this is a cool casting. Matchbox has a mainline version of this, but this one's cool because I think the top might be removable because it shows it in the art, so it could be cool. I'm just pumped about all of these. So far, I've been pretty happy with this line. If you did watch the first one, you'll know we had some paint hiccups on the Porsche and a little bit on the Lamborghini. Other than that, pretty positive reviews from this line. It's been pretty fun to open all these. So let's go ahead and open the second wave and see how this compares to the first wave. Oh my gosh, catastrophe on camera. Okay, so let's open the G-Wagon first because this one's kind of interesting. I don't know, it seems like when one manufacturer makes a vehicle or like decides to cast a vehicle, that a lot of other companies kind of follow suit. And the G-Wagon is one of those that I feel like so many diecast companies have made, but I don't think we've gotten a ton of versions of the open roof type like this. So there is the box. It has that very nice pink slips card art. So let's look at this. Okay. So this is actually a sparkly, this is more of a metallic paint job. You have the little Maybach logos on it there, the V12 bi-turbo. So the engine, not super detailed. This line overall has not had a ton of detail in the engine compartment, but they do have very good interior detail, I feel like. So that coupled with the moving parts and everything else, these rank pretty high on my list. I think these are nice releases. This one in general looks pretty good. Does this come off? Oh, let's see. Oh, it does come off. Look at that. So you can kind of put more stuff in the back if you want. I don't know if it's supposed to come off like it's meant to, because you can see like the cast holes in it and stuff. But that's cool that it does actually come off. So let me push that back in there. Actually, I don't want to put it back in there because I can't see. So I'll put it back in there after the video's over. But this is pretty cool. I think the grille detail is nice. Again, clear headlights on every car in this line so far, which is cool. This has very knobby off-road tires. This scale is 1/61 scale. Again, well, very positive to this line that they put the scale on the cars, because not really no one else is doing that in America. I don't think any Mattel brand is doing it. I don't think Greenlight is doing it. Auto World are technically all supposed to be 1/64 scale, so they don't need to do it. Johnny Lightning doesn't do it. So it's cool that they are doing it. So let's go ahead and check the suspension, because one of the perks is the working suspension. This one is pretty good. This one sits a little lower too, but the suspension seems to be working pretty well. But overall, oh, look at that. That turns too. Interesting. You can kind of see how it's installed too, which is nice, just like that peg style. So there, with that missing, you can kind of see more of the interior detail. Excellent interiors on these. They're not detailed with tampos, but they have really good mold. So this is a cool one. I like this one. Cool. Off to a good start. That's a good release. Solid. I don't really see anything wrong with that one. So next up, the Audi RS e-tron GT. I love this car in real life. I think this car and then the Taycan, I believe is how you say it, both in real life, I think are very beautiful vehicles. I think the Porsche version is probably the most beautiful Porsche they're producing right now in general. So there is the box art. Let's go ahead and look at this one. So the moving part is the hood, and this is just in general for any diecast manufacturer. When it's an electric car and there's no like engine to show, and it's just basically like an opening trunk, I don't know if I need the hood to open, the hood, because there's really no reason for it to open. There's not anything I can really do with it. I guess if you're playing with it, you could store fake luggage in there or something, but it doesn't really add to the detail of the model. Like, I'd almost rather have the trunk open than the hood, but it is a trunk. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Let me know what you think. Like, do you care if a EV car has an opening hood or trunk, because there's really nothing in each? Let me know in the comments what you think of that. But the Audi logo on the front looks good. Clear headlights. Again, I think look at that. The striping on the car looks excellent. Like, that tampo is super clear. Same with the hood or the roof. Look at that. It's almost like tripping the camera out. That looks incredible. Like, there's no overlap on it. It looks almost like carbon fiber. Like, that looks great. The stripes are clear. It's got like black stripes on the front end. Let's see. e-tron GT is readable. Taillights look good. Yeah, overall, this is a pretty good casting. Those chrome wheels, I'm not a chrome wheel guy. I don't really like chrome wheels, especially on, like, if I saw chrome wheels on a e-tron GT driving down the street, I'd probably be like, why does that have chrome wheels? But this actually kind of pulls it off, especially with the darker color body and then the rest, like the bright color tampos. I don't think it looks bad. Again, let me know your thoughts on this one and just the EV castings in general, but let's check the suspension. So the suspension, I think the G-Wagon, the Maybach, moves a little more. This one doesn't have a ton of room between the wheel well and the tires, so the suspension isn't as, like, divey or movable as some of the other ones, but as a casting release, this thing looks awesome. It really does. Like, chrome wheels aside, they did a great job with that one too. So let's go ahead and open the Mercedes. This one, I'm really looking forward to. Both Mercedes, what was the G-Wagon had a scrape on the bumper, and then the, what was it, the other one? The AMG, the GT, the orange one, had a scrape on the mirrors. So there's no scrape on the G-Wagon as far as I can tell. So we're already looking more positive in Mercedes land, at least on this video. And I don't know why they just did 6 in this line, because Majorette actually has a lot more castings that they could have put in this line. So maybe they just kind of were like, oh, let's just do 6 and see how it goes for the second one. But I'm really hoping we get a third wave of more Majorette castings. But so there is the box art. This thing looks very nice. Let's look at that tampos, AMG SL63. I like the painted exhaust. Like, there's a tampo across that, which makes it look a lot better. The color is cool. It's almost like a rhino lined, like that matte. It's very interesting. The grill tampos look good. Mercedes logo. Like, Hot Wheels premiums that are, what, $2 to $3 more don't even have that clear tampo. So that is definitely a step up from some of the other brands. Again, you can read that because they're pad printed. They're not the printer style. They just look so much better. They really do. So this has the, what, 9 or 10 spoke wheels with the chrome outline. Let's go ahead and try, was it the hood that opened, right? I think the hood opens. There we go. So there, it actually has a fairly detailed engine. Again, no tampo marks on it, but it does have a decent casting. And the hood works well. I think with it closed, I don't think it fits poorly. I think it might be a little bit high in the front. Yeah, it probably is a little high in the front since I opened it. I think, let's see if we can push it down anymore. So it just has a little bit of lift in the front. I don't like it, but it doesn't ruin the model for me. So let's go ahead and take this top off. Does it come all the way off? I think it does, right? Yeah, so it does have clips on both sides. That's cool. We rarely, I mean, when's the last time we've gotten a removable convertible top on a car? Probably not since like some of the Road Champ cars in the 80s or something. But again, this gives us a really good look at the interior sculpt on these, and it's excellent. Like, they have very nice interiors. They're pretty detailed. The seat backs, the dash, it has an open type steering wheel. It's not just like a flat piece of plastic, and it actually looks like the Mercedes steering wheels. You can even see the center console has some detail. Majorette probably has the best overall plastic interiors of anyone so far that's not like a true premium brand that's like, you know, maybe like an Auto World or Greenlight. But I'd even put this interior up against some of those because I think they look great. But the car looks good. I don't think they overdid the windshield. It might be a touch tall, but sometimes convertible castings in 1/64 scale look terrible. And I don't think this one looks terrible. I think it looks okay. So let's go ahead and put this back on and see how it fits. So, I mean, it fits good. It has really nice fitment. It looks nice. Especially, again, this is the $4 to $5 price range, so we're not in full premium to get a moving part, a removable roof, nicely detailed interior, rubber tires with the suspension. These are a great deal. Because I actually bought some at, I bought some more Majorettes at Walmart yesterday, and they were $3.99, not $4.99. So if these are indeed in the $4 price range, these are spectacular buys. Just the quality, the paint, everything that they put into them, the working suspension, excellent cars for $4. I'd probably rather buy 2 of these than one premium of some other brands, just because those are more static models. Like, they're not really meant to be rolled. They don't really roll that well. Like, Greenlights, I love Greenlights, but they roll so terribly, most of them. And these are half price and roll just as nice. Now, they're not as detailed as Greenlights, but again, you have to put it into perspective for the price, what these models are for, what Greenlight models are for. But I think at the price point, Majorette really, really holds its own. So here's the Mustang Fastback. It has the 5-spoke wheels on it that we like from this line, or I like from this line. I think they look great. Door opens. Let's see how the door works. The door fitment looks pretty good. Again, this has clear headlights. The side of this casting over here isn't the best. Like, it's got a little bit of artifacts, like the metal artifacts left. Over here, it looks a lot better. But the tampos on the grille are very cleanly done. Same with the stripes. I don't really see any huge errors there. Ooh, and the back looks nice. They just have a little bit of the black paint coming off, which is a bummer, but that happens on a lot of other brands too. And this is a cheaper price point, so we can't fault them as much for it, but it is a fault. You don't want it, no matter what the price of the car is, you still don't want to see huge paint errors like that. So that's definitely like -1 for this one in particular. But overall, I would say the quality of the tampos and the look of them, like the Mustang script across the trunk, looks great. I won't fault them for that. But overall, the paint looks nice on this one. Is that double stamped? It is. Look, so we have a Mustang over there, and we have a double stamped Mustang right there, which is kind of crazy. I almost wish I would have paid attention to that earlier, because I don't know if I would have opened that one, because that's kind of cool error. Mustang. Again, so in terms of paint, so far the, 3 or 4 we've opened, this has been the worst one just because it has those little paint hiccups right there. And the double stamped tampos, actually, like, it's amazing to have both double stamped and be clear. Usually it's like a smeared double one, but to have an actual double stamp Mustang is kind of crazy. So all these have mirrors. Again, a nice point that we haven't touched on in this video, but the interior, it's a little hard to see, but it does have nice detailing too. It has the vinyl style seats with the lines in them that the actual Mustang does have. Ooh, there it goes. So this door, I would say these door actions are a little funny. Ooh, that's a separate plastic bumper piece, which is cool. I didn't realize that until I just like caught the edge of it. See, you can kind of move it up there. So is this plastic too? It is. So these have separate bumper pieces. That's pretty impressive. So as a release and a casting, I think this is really well done. This particular one with a little bit of the artifact around the headlight, the double stamp tampos, and some of the missing tampos or the scratch tampos out back gives it a little bit lower score. But as a release, this is a great release. So the wheels on this, too big in my opinion. I think these need to be about half to a third smaller because they just look giant. It looks like a kind of like a probably what would be equivalent to like a 20 or 22 inch wheel on a real Mustang. But again, as a release, I don't know. I would probably say this is one of the lower releases in my book, just because the wheel choice really brings it down, I think, in terms of realism, but the casting itself is good. So let me know what you think. Do you think these wheels are too big? Let me know in the comments below. I don't know. I think they are. Some of the other cars can get away with it, like the e-tron having big wheels and the Mercedes. Like the Mercedes probably has 19 or 20s on it from the factory. So those are supposed to look a little bit bigger. All right, let's do the 911 Carrera S. Whoop. This casting, I really like. I have these open, a couple of these open from the Majorette line, and I even did a write-up on one way back in the day when Live and Let Diecast was on Kinja. I think I did a write-up on it then, the one with the, what was it, that had the ski rack or a surfboard on it. So there you can see, this looks really good with the pink, like the pink card art. Yeah, so I did a write-up on one of these years and years ago when it first came out, but I like this casting. So we'll go ahead and look at it with the parts open. Again, this one has, it's not an EV, but because there's no engine in the front, it's just a trunk area, so I don't really care that it opens or not. But I will say that the panel gap on it, it's pretty nice. It doesn't have a huge gap. This side has a little bit heavier gap, but it's not a deal ruiner. Like, I still think it looks good. This also has clear headlights, which has been the theme throughout the line. So let's try the door. The door function works good. They open pretty wide there. Yeah. Again, detailed interior. This line has like really like built up interiors on like the quality of interiors for this line. The door gaps look pretty much the same. The Porsche is very nicely done on the bottom. Porsche 911 Carrera S, I think it has good taillight tampos. This compared to, let's see this, I think this has the better taillights. These, to me, the angle and how they're done are just not the best. I think this looks much better. Like that to me looks like a toy, even though this is an excellent casting, but that one looks more like a collectible. So while I like the GT3 casting better, I think this is probably one of the nicer versions of this car that you can get on American shelves at least. So love those white wheels. Those 6-spoke white wheels look really nice. So let's go ahead and test the suspension. It has really good suspension. You could almost like put a roof rack on this and turn it into a safari Porsche. The suspension works so well. But man, that casting in the pink with the white wheels, it looks great. This is probably my favorite one from this line. Just looks so good. No paint errors on that one too, and you got the Porsche up front. Really, it looks good overall. There's some slight bubbling over there, but there's no scratches or chips out of the mirrors or anything like that. So pretty solid release. I would say that's just a really good car. I like that one. So, okay, Hummer EV. These, I will say this every time I open one of these, but these cars are monstrous in real life. Like, they're just like the size of a dump truck. If you've ever seen them in real life, they're just absolutely huge. And I love that they can crab walk and that they run like 11-second quarter mile or whatever it is. Just really interesting vehicles. So there is the card art. Let's look at this thing. I'm really intrigued by the paint on this. So it's like a matte metallic, if that makes sense. Like, you can see the sparkles in it, but it's matte. And then it has like the almost like hidden graphics on the side, the little dots, like the diamonds. It says HEV, like the Hummer EV. It's pretty clean overall. That one kind of has some wiggle in it, I think, but the one on the driver's side doesn't. Again, you have the front opening. That one actually looks pretty good. I like this silver, even though it's technically not supposed to be silver. It's supposed to be body painted color or black. I think that this opening is probably one of the more nicer done openings, trunks in this line, just because they have so much room in there. Let's see. And the hood fitment looks good too. So it's got that little plastic piece up there. The tampos look pretty good. It says Hummer on it. Yeah, this is nice. I really like those wheels. So I don't think, does this come off? Let's see if this comes off. Oh, it does. Look at that. So this actually has a removable T-top roof. That is so killer. And what's interesting is this plastic part that's part of the hood is the dash piece. So it gives it a 2-color plastic interior. So you have the black seats plus the silver dash or the gray dash. And there you can see the detail. They actually do have the specific Hummer style steering wheel. If you look at a picture of a real Hummer steering wheel, it has that square in the center with the 3 spokes. So that's pretty realistic. But I love that the top comes off like that. It has the T-tops. It's got the bed detail. It says Hummer EV out back with a really clear GMC. This looks great. It really does. This is an awesome looking casting. And the little fogged T-top cover is cool. I will definitely buy another one of these just to have a version with the T-tops on and off sitting in my collection because I really like that. So let's see how this goes back in. So it kind of goes like that and snaps back in there. And the fitment looks good. I don't think it looks a little cheap on the roof because you can see the circles of like the mold lines for it. But from the side, it's not bad. Again, this is a $4 car. Remember all the detail. You have a moving part here, a removable part. So not only do we have that, the moving parts, we also have the working suspension, rubber tires. That looks awesome. Man, that is a killer release. For $4, you probably can't get any other release, at least in the United States, that has this much detail and moving parts for $4. This is just incredible. It really is. So I'm interested in seeing the scale. So this is a 1/70th scale for that one. And I can't remember, I probably missed a few of them. So the 911 is a 1/60th scale, it looks like. I don't know, it kind of has some, the chassis looks a little bit odd on this one. Like it has some what do you call that, like slack on it, just like extra plastic that looks like it didn't get cleaned off. So that one looks 160, 170. What was the Mustang? The Mustang is 1/62nd scale, so it's a little larger. Mercedes 1/60th. Is that what it said? Yeah, 1/60th. And we'll just go back through the others so we can look at them all in one time. 163. So do we have any true 1/64th in this line? 161. So no. So there's no 1/64th in this line. There were like 2 or 3 actual 1/64ths in that line, the first releases. But again, I think they all fit together well, especially when you compare them to like a Mattel, like a Matchbox or whatever, that has like a dump truck the same size as a Mini Cooper. I think all these fit together pretty well. So I'm not too much of a stickler when it comes to being exact 1/64th because I know that's a difficult thing to do, but I do applaud brands like Auto World who do exact 1/64 scale for everything because it does look a lot better when you go to do like dioramas and things like that. So let me know what you think of this second release. I'm pretty impressed with it still. We had definitely much less paint errors with this line. We only really had some hiccups with the Mustang, and the Hummer and the Mercedes with the removable parts just bring that extra bit of awesomeness to this line. So let me know what you think about these in the comments. Wave 2. I wish there would have been 6 more because they just keep getting better and better, it seems like. Let me know which one was your favorite. If the scale issue bothers you about it being like 170 and 1/62nd scale or whatever, let me know which one of these are your favorite and what you think of this line in general. And then I will be posting part 3, I think either tonight or tomorrow morning. So be on the lookout for that. Hit that like and subscribe, the little bell, so you get the notifications of when the third one is, because the Majorette castings are going to be excellent. I'm so pumped to open those. I have over 20 to open with you now. It's just going to be a great video. So I really appreciate you watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.